Then it goes to HiFi Prototype. Once I have run the paper, okay, got feedback, and what is this? Okay, so this is probably a HiFi screen, a screen to convert contract data into HRL, and there's some number like labeled that has like more explanations. For example, number 1 is button to generate a zip file, and 2 is add template. Okay, then it goes into data conversion status. I see. The labeling here is definitely helpful to be able to understand which part is what. But what I really want to know more is how did you land on this design solution? What are some considerations or thinkings that you happened behind the scene? Looks like this is probably an interactive prototype. Okay, showing how the flow, how it works step by step. This is definitely very helpful and good to see this journey in one place. Last, it has tools used for the project, mural, overflow, sketch, and envision. Awesome. Benefit of system solution. This might be the ending. Proposed solution has a convenient web-based GUI instead of a command line input of the existing tool. Okay, support 3 primary users. Okay. It provides informative reports with status of actions or which were missing. Okay, I developed prototype based on the constant feedback from the target users and developers. Okay, and the last, as a result, the HiFi prototype version was used for the system development. That's excellent. What I'm hoping to see is what is the outcome. The professional service estimated that using the new tool would save a minimum of 2 days of work. Okay, this is excellent. Which they had previously spent loading contract data and tracking down and resolving conversion errors. Okay, I think this kind of, the designer definitely like has this mindset to show what is the design outcome and impact here. For example, the last line, the estimated impact is this will save a minimum of 2 days of work. So this is definitely some proof and concrete data. However, I would encourage you to see if there might be even more data you can have or spend a bit more time and space to talk about the impact of your design. I think for B2B project, overall the flow you have is pretty clear and it's very much an end-to-end design experience. So the part that I would encourage you to spend a bit more time and dive a little bit deeper is this HiFi prototype. I think what you have here with the finalized UI labeled with the key elements, visual elements in there is definitely helpful, but it's something that I think the critical things missing is what's the design thinking put behind. If this is designing from 0 to 1 or if it is redesign, what has led you to make those decisions that comes into those screen? Like maybe you can like have some highlight areas and I don't know, maybe just comparing like how you have iterated from the first version of paper prototype to this final solution. Like what are some change or iterations that you have made or from gaining feedback or doing testings? What are some problems or frictions that you have discovered and how did you iterate and improve the design to land on this? Because just by reading itself, yes, okay, I get number 1, this like muted button is button to generate a zip file. Number 2, button to add another template for conversion. This is to me feels like more of a guide to understand the UI, like what element is which. However, from the UX designer perspective, like hiring perspective, I think as a hiring manager, I'm always would love to know more about your thinking process, and especially the critical thinking, like how you made certain design decisions and what are the rationales behind. So that's something I would encourage you to think more. If you have maybe a story to tell, like I'm sure you do, like from the first version, like the early design, how has that evolved? And don't feel shy to show that, even it looks like messy versus HiFi, that's fine. But make some connections and help the viewer to see how your design has evolved and how you made those progress and what are the thinkings putting behind. So that's really, I think, the number one thing I would recommend you to think about. Other than that, I think the visual seems pretty clean, and I can tell that you have a systematic approach in mind with the consistency in color and font. The hero image, though, here a little bit questioning. It looks like translucent, transparent percentage is very light, so I can't really see the visual. So I'm not sure if this like prototype you have here is the best asset to reflect your design work on this project. If yes, great, fine. But if you have something more, like show it in the hero image or put it in a more prominent space at the front with a like more higher contrast. That I think, if you have any done like any data visualization or more visual stuff, it's always a good thing to show it in the portfolio. The reason why I have this thought is, most of the time people are visual animals, and the first thing they see when they land on this page is the hero image. So if you have something that you want to show, this is probably like something valuable that you feel really proud of. This is probably the best place to show it. Okay, let's take a look at about me, like we always do. Hi, I'm Julia, UX designer and researcher from Boston. Lovely picture. I'm a research-driven UX leader, skilled in translating business requirements and customer insight into accessible and user-centered solutions. Some more about the background, experience. The BA positions really allowed me to work on software projects through all phases, which is very important, and gain like valuable experience interacting with stakeholders, both Europe and US. Awesome. Very, very helpful perspectives from a UX designer's point of view. At the end, on a lighter note, I'm a new mom, the owner of a rescued cat and dog, and a tea lover and a traveler who has visited more than 30 countries. I love it. I think this About Me page is no question. This is very well done. And I like that this designer has put into more details more about herself as a person and from her experience background, with also a little bit personal touch on it, which I love. And with the bolded text here, you do have a better visual hierarchy. If you don't, more in a scanning mode, you get the keywords. The font, though, like the bolded text, does not feel as clearly differentiated from the regular font in this font style for some reason. So that's really, I think, a nitpicky, but just one thing I observed, if your goal is to highlight certain sentences here as a keywords or key highlights, maybe a different like treatment, maybe it's the extra bold, maybe it's a background highlighted color. I will leave the choice to you, but just to make it a bit more stand out, I think might be helpful. But overall, I think Julia has done a really good job in terms of the overall portfolio website structure, visual language, and a consistent approach from the design of landing page, case study, and About Me page. Just a quick summary. I think from what we have seen today from Julia's UX portfolio, the top suggestion I have is really number one, to have a really clear goal of what is the position you are looking to interview for. If it is UX designer, highlight that and try to, like, from both the headline and the project case study, and try to leave the researcher part on a secondary hierarchy. If it is vice versa, obviously, like, put researcher as the center focus and try to solve the other side. I think for a portfolio purpose, you always want to be very clear on who you are, what's the role you're looking for, and how to best connect that. So if you are interviewing for designer jobs, I would definitely make it super clear in the headline and in the project you're showing, put it at the first. And in terms of the visual, I think for the landing page, on one hand, I really like the visual, the illustrations, but on the other hand, I think it's missing a little bit on the actual, like, hint the actual signal of what are those projects about. You can debate on this. I think you don't really have to show a screenshot or a phone mock to be able to convey, okay, this is a mobile app I designed, this is a web app I designed. But for example, the first project that we looked at today, that B2B project for data load tool, from that cover image, it's kind of hard for me to get from that thumbnail immediately, like this is a web product. And I was actually a little bit questioning, like, is this actually a design project at first? So I think maybe there are ways you can play around with those illustrations. On one hand, maybe keep that consistent illustration style that you already have. But on the other hand, maybe somewhat like try to reflect the actual design product you shipped or designed in that case study. And the other thing, I think a key highlight is from the project we look at today, the process is fine and the language is very clear. The key problem, I think, is really when you get to the HiFi, the final solutions. I would definitely encourage you to think a bit more about how you can best present your final solutions and show your critical thinkings. If it means showing before and after, you can try that, or you might be able to show it in different ways by call out, explain like how you made and land into certain decisions at the HiFi phase. For example, with the testing or like feedback, we learned this is a problem. So I iterated the design of the data loading experience and landed on this solution that helps users solve what problem, just an idea, but the whole purpose, I think, when you show HiFi, the purpose is not just to show pretty screens, but really as a UX designer, I think the most valuable part is actually to show your thinking process and your rationale. So that's the other comment I have overall. But I think Julia did a great job in having a very professional portfolio website put together. It looks like she has a good number of projects and a really good experience from both design, business, and research. So that's a huge plus for sure. And with that in mind, if you have any questions and thoughts, please feel free to leave me in comments, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.